There are 165 bosses in Elden Ring, 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. Word. 207 if we include the DLC. It sounds overwhelming until you realize that you can actually beat the base game while only fighting 11 bosses and even less in the DLC. This run has faced redos time and again, but I feel like this time I have a working strategy and even better, working weapons. The first time I did this, I tried out the Sword of Night and Flame, but that didn't work against Mohg. The second time I tried out the Star-Scourge Greatsword. Now that one actually had promise, the only issue was that I already used this weapon a lot and actually wanted to try something else, so that ended. The third time, I tried out the Antspur Rapier with a poison affinity to proc Scarlet Rot and poison, which did end up getting me as far as Malekith. The problem was that the low damage that it was doing was not really helping me much, and I was merely relying on the status proccing, so that ultimately ended in failure too. This time though, I had not one, but two weapons in mind. Dual Great Stars. These were really strong and could proc bleed, not to mention both were simple to get just by going through the run as I did before. Oh yeah, I should mention that I'm not going to be doing the DLC in this run. Having to do all of the base game along with going around and collecting Shadow Tree and Revered Spirit Ash fragments just doesn't sit well with me. So we'll just deal with the base game for now and come back to the DLC later. Sound good? I hope so because it's time to begin. I go with the hero class for the high strength and dex that they start out with, making getting the requirements for the Great Stars easier, and chose the Golden Seed as our keepsake just because it will give us a little bit of a lead on those as we collect them. Now as I go through this right here, I'm just going to go over a few things. We need 2 Great Room bosses in order to get into Lane Dell, and there are a lot that require killing a boss beforehand to get to them. Godric, you have to fight Margit. Renala, you have to fight the Red Wolf. Rykard, you have to fight Oogie Boogie. So that only leaves, thankfully, 2 Great Room bosses that we can fight, Radahn and Mohg, which kinda sucks because they are 2 of the toughest bosses in the game. Radahn being a little easier because of the raid boss type mechanic that he has with the summons, but Mohg, did I mention that this guy was my biggest roadblock for my past runs? Radahn we can access just by getting the 2 Dectus medallions and lighting a Grace in Altus Plateau. Mohg we can fight afterwards by doing Vari's questline to get to Mohgwyn Palace super early. So with that out of the way, it's time to do the most exciting thing about every Elden Ring run. Going around and collecting golden seeds and sacred tears! Don't worry, I'm not going to have y'all sit through that, I'll do that in my own time. But before we do that, we have to get Torrent from our girlfriend. But between you and me, she's just pretending to be my girlfriend so I can stick it to Vari.
You are maidenless.
That prick! And while I was doing all of this, my fake girlfriend decided she wanted to take me to one of her family get-togethers, which I thought was kind of strange, but I went anyways. Her dad gave me the typical break my daughter's heart and I'll break your face talk before telling me to go away. Her young edgelord brother gave me a dirty look while doing a cool guy pose. Her blind uncle talked to me about our Lord and Savior, the 2 Fingers. Her weird brother talked on and on about death. Her 2 creepy sisters just stared at me. Her older brother was the only one who welcomed me and even talked to me about his girlfriend who mysteriously ran off. Probably nothing to worry about. Her blacksmith uncle offered to smith my weapons, had none to give him at the moment so I didn't, and while her father was very unwelcoming to me, her mother was very welcoming. In fact, she even gave me a hug, which was really nice, though I think she was sick or something because I felt a little off afterwards. All in all, not too bad and not too good either. And on my journey, I managed to come across my fake girlfriend's older brother again. Hey man, what's wrong? Well, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all, eh? I know, bad advice. Also, while on my journey, I came across this woman with a serious posture problem who asked me to retrieve a necklace for her, which was stolen by the man in the iron mask. He said he'd give it back, for a price, knew that was coming, and oh. I was a little short. So I went to the local Albanorex and asked them nicely to give me runes. They refused and I came back and took them by force. Then I was able to buy the necklace back. Should have killed him to be honest, but he seems chill. Then I returned it to the woman who invited me to join her cult. I told her I'd think about it, and then she told me about a secret passage up to Altus Plateau that didn't require the Dectus lift, which sounded tempting until she told me about an optional boss that I'd have to kill, and I politely declined. Anyway, at this point I was done getting what I needed from the first few areas, and I decided to finally go and pick up the 2 Dectus medallions and take the Dectus lift to Altus Plateau, where I lit a Grace to activate the Radahn Festival. Of course, I wouldn't be able to fight Radahn just yet. I mean, look at me, I ain't ready. I ended up running into the same woman from before who invited me over to her house to meet her family. Call it cheating, but me and Melina aren't actually dating, so it doesn't count. Turns out her family is that same cult that she mentioned before. They hate the 2 Fingers, but I'm not one to judge, and besides, it sounded like fun, so I joined. I then went to get the first of my 2 Great Stars. Joke's on you, I still got it. Then I went and got the Smithing Stone Bell Bearing 2, which would allow me to purchase Smithing 3s and 4s. And since I was able to get enough 1s and 2s to upgrade both Great Stars, I ended up getting my first one up to plus 13, is what I would say if I didn't end up running out of runes before getting it past plus 7 and having to politely ask this boulder to off itself a couple times, and then coming back to get up to plus 13. Is what I would say if I didn't run out of runes before getting past plus 12. Back to the boulder. Okay, now it's up to plus 13. God, that was annoying. Now it was time to get that boulder to do it a few more times so I could get the stat requirements for the Great Stars, along with getting my faith up to 12. You'll see why in a bit. And by a bit, I mean right now, because I'm going to run over here and pick up Poison Mist. Now that I've got that, it's time to go over and use Chemical Warfare on a Draconic Tree Sentinel. His boss fight's annoying, so this is okay. And with his runes, I leveled up my Vigor to 27, now to go on to the very last cash cow of the run, and that is the Big Dragon. And with their runes, I leveled up my Vigor to 30 and my Endurance up to 20. I then went over to grab Cragblade, and then ran over to grab the Golden Vow Ash of War and applied Cragblade to my Great Stars and add a Heavy Affinity. I would then later add Golden Vow to my second one later on. Then I went and bought the Knight Armor since I knew that Radahn was going to hit really fucking hard and needed as much defense as possible for now. I also went and picked up some talismans, like the Crimson Amber Medallion, a talisman that boosts HP by a decent bit, the Green Turtle Talisman that boosts stamina regeneration, and of course the Erdtree's Favor, which boosted HP, stamina, and equip load. Given I only had one talisman slot at the moment, I figured this would be the more useful of the three for now. I ran down here to kill this guy, super easily might I add, to start Yura's questline, and then I came in here to beat the shit out of Patches. I saw another YouTuber do this on his run, and he said that as long as he doesn't get killed, it doesn't count as a boss fight. So that's the logic I'm going with here. Also, go support this guy and go watch his run. It's really fun. He does things differently than I do. I came back in the cave after exhausting his dialogue and was shocked to discover that he wasn't there. But no big deal, because I remember that he goes to Volcano Manor if you join. So I went there to buy his cookbook to be able to craft infinite gold pickled foul feet, which would come in handy for rune farming and gaining more runes from bosses. I then came over to Raya Lucaria to continue Yura's questline, and finally went up to Altus Plateau for the end of his questline so I could fight Eleonora to get the Purifying Crystal Tier, which I'd need for Moog later. And with that, the prep work was basically over, and now it was time to fight the first boss of this run, Radahn. Before I even began to fight Radahn, I farmed off screen for materials to craft gold pickled foul feet. I managed to get 10, which would be good enough for now. And after this guy talked to me about how Radahn went mad after a falling out with his redhead girlfriend, I finally challenged Radahn. I went in, summoned the boys and girl, mistimed the iframe dismount, and realized that the Great Stars was not a mistake as I staggered Radahn before he took to the skies, panicked a bit when I couldn't see him, applied Cragblade, summoned another one of the boys, and even though he took down some of the boys and the girl, I managed to stagger him and deliver a riposte to secure my victory over the Star Scourge. Holy fuck, I did not think it was gonna go that well. I got complimented by a furry, talked to this glorious lad to continue his questline, leveled my intelligence to 13, you'll see why in a minute, and went to activate Radahn's Great Rune. It was the only one that I could get on this one, so might as well. Side note, I fucking hate getting this Great Rune simply because of how anxiety-inducing it is to get. Seriously, who thought this was a good idea? I then visited Melena's grandmother, who talked to me about being able to hear the two fingers, thought she was crazy, but I went along with it, until she stopped and finally gave me the Star Scourge Greatsword. I will be using this for future farming. After that, I went over to this mausoleum to break it down and dupe the remembrance so I could use it to get my intelligence to 15 and my strength to 23. Now it was time to do Vari's questline and to obtain my second Great Stars. So I went over to the Rose Church, talked to the Vari, told him that the two fingers seemed kinda sus. He gave me some fingers and told me to go ruin someone's day, so I chose this guy who ruined my day twice before I finally got to ruin his and claim my second Great Stars, which I immediately went to Melena's uncle to get up to plus 8. Come here, Boulder. Now I could get up to plus... come here, Boulder. Now it's plus 12. And we gave it Golden Vow with a standard affinity. We'll be able to give it a heavy one later. I returned to Vare and he gave me a cloth to soak in a maiden's blood.
You are maidenless.
Damn it, Melina, it didn't work! Resisting the urge to rip Vare limb from limb, I went to find a maiden. Thankfully, I knew one that belonged to some simp. So I dodged the Eye of Sauron, killed this rat, avoided the simp, lit the grace, took the sacred tear, took his maiden's clothes before taking her blood, which pissed him off because only he could undress his maiden. Dude, she didn't love you, get over it! I put him out of his misery and made my way back to Vare, who almost almost pulled my finger off. Oh, you are so fucking dead later. He then gave me the medal to access Mogwin Palace, which he told me not to use yet. So naturally, I used it right in front of him. Serves you right. I got the map, got this grace for later, dodged the giant spooky scary skeleton, unsuccessfully, and made my way over to the best farming spot in the entire game. I then made my way up past these blood zombies who weren't paying any attention to me. Well, most of them anyway. And I made my way through this dark cave and thankfully didn't end up getting chased the entire way through. With this grace, decided to actually fight everything here since I had better weapons this time, which went really well, and I grabbed the Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, which I would use to max out the Starscourge Greatsword to get the most out of it when farming. But now it was time for some payback against Vare. Who's maidenless now, bitch? Who's maidenless now? Knowing that Moog was going to be a pain in the ass, I decided it was time to begin farming to get a decent bit of levels before challenging him. So anyways, I farmed until I had only 5 gold pickle foul feet left, and I leveled my strength up to 38, my vigor up to 40, and my endurance up to 22. Figuring that would be enough, I decided to challenge Moog. But before I did that, I realized I still had some runes that I haven't sold, and I used those to get the Starscourge Greatsword maxed out for farming, and to get my strength up to an even 40. And off screen, I went and bought all of the rune arcs that I could, used the last bit of my runes to put another level into endurance before finally challenging Moog. Man, you guys remember when we thought he was a creepy fucker? Good times. Now Miquella's the creepy fucker. Strange times. For my physic, I of course had the Purifying Crystal tier and the Green Spill Crystal tier for extra stamina. Wish I had the Green Burst Crystal tier for stamina regen, but that requires killing a boss to get. I even popped a rune arc to give myself a bit of a boost during the fight. My weapons did a decent bit of damage and proc bleed a good bit. I even staggered him a good bit. He used his BS attack and I reapplied Crag Blade to continuously use jump attacks on him. And after a good bit of careful dodges, some fumbled, and a few more staggers and bleed procs, I was shocked when he died on the first try. This motherfucker was the biggest fucking roadblock of all of my runs, and these weapons did him in. I can't believe that I got Radon and Moog on my first try. Guess the Great Stars really are OP. So after that, I listened to Melena's grandmother go on about her hearing the words of the Two Fingers until she gave me a talisman pouch, which I put the Green Turtle talisman into, figuring a bit of stamina regen would be super helpful. Then after popping Moog's remembrance, I put them all into endurance and got up to 35. Now, I finally had 2 great runes, and it was time for me to finally go to Leyndell. With Moog out of the way, I knew that the rest of this run was going to be a breeze. That's how it was with the previous run, after all. So I went on into Leyndell, took in the gorgeous view, and had a talk with Melina. Hey Melina, so I killed Vare, that means we no longer have to pretend to be a couple now. Damn, I thought this was the part where she mentions that she actually wants to be my girlfriend now. Stupid movies, always getting my hopes up. And I took in another gorgeous view, smashed some butt trumpets, smashed a big butt trumpet, and proceeded to destroy every single thing in my path, including these golden knights with the great shields. Holy hell, these guys went down easy. I then used Golden Vow and Crag Blade before smashing this Erdtree avatar. This one didn't have a boss health bar, so it was okay to kill, which is good because it dropped the Lord's Rune. I decided to take a little detour to go and pick up my armor set for the run. I wanted something nice and tanky, so I went with Lionel's armor. But before I could get it, I had to smash this Omen Killer. God, these weapons are good. Like it or not, ladies, this is what peak male physique looks like. After that, I went further down this path to get another golden seed. This ulcerated tree spirit wasn't a boss, so it was okay to kill. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, by the way. I continued the way I was supposed to go, destroying everything in my path. What's that, Todd Howard? I could climb mountains in your game? How about a fucking dragon, huh? Didn't think so. My next golden seed was in the area, so I smashed this gargoyle and the butt trumpets that were with him, and claimed my next golden seed, which was enough to get another flask. Neat. After that, I went and climbed this route and did something that I never do. I killed every single enemy that was on it. I always just run past them to get to Goldfree, but this time I just wanted to actually fight them. Wasn't too bad, to be honest. But now it was time to fight Goldfree. Fighting him always feels so good, because his fight is so well balanced. Didn't stop me from always dying to stupidity, though. Nevertheless, I beat him on my first try, a lot of first tries in this run, and gained another talisman pouch, which I slid the Crimson Amber Medallion into. I smashed this Black Knight Assassin who stabbed me in the back, just like Judy in high school, and I went back to the Round Table Hold to sell all the stuff that was on me and get my endurance up to 39, before finally facing off with Morgott. You know, when I first played, I absolutely hated him, Margit that is, and thought he was complete bullshit. Turns out, he's not that bad, and I actually like fighting him now. And once again, it was a first try victory. I think choosing these weapons was a good idea. Oh yeah? Well, I'll show you. Watch me go. Well, shit. I went back to Rest of the Grace and got visited by my ex-fake girlfriend, who revealed that she actually did want to be my girlfriend. And to prove her love, she wanted me to take her to the mountaintops of the Giants, and even gave me a medallion to use on the lift there. Before I did this, I popped Morgott's Remembrance and used the runes to level my endurance up to 40 and my strength up to 42. I also went to Stormvale Castle, since now Margit wasn't blocking the way to get my next talisman, the Claw Talisman. Since I was doing jump attacks a lot, this would help a good bit. But before I could get it, I went and showed this kitty what for, got this golden seed, fought this ulcerate tree spirit for another one, not a boss, said to Godwin, killed this guy, since I wasn't going to do his questline, showed this knight that I wasn't locked in here with him, he was locked in here with me, and then I got the claw talisman. After that, I went over to this campsite to kill yet another ulcerate tree spirit for a golden seed, once again not a boss. I then went over to this part of Mount Gilmere to talk to Alexander to progress his questline, while having to dodge this magma worm the whole time. And then it was finally time for me to— oh wait, I forgot to get something at Stormvale! There, that's better. Oh, and I killed the Grafted Scion while I was here. Then I went and put a heavy affinity on my other great stars, realized I had 2 smithing stone 5s that could get up to plus 13 too, and then it was time to go to the mountaintops of the giants. So, do you guys remember when I went to Stormvale to grab the Iron Wet Blade so I could give my other great stars a heavy affinity? Turns out I could have duped Cragblade and gotten the same effect on both great stars. And I tried it out. You can actually put Cragblade on both great stars if you do it right. So I just wasted time and a stone sword key doing that. Oh, and I put Golden Vow on the dagger so I could still use it. Also, I made an error. I said that I maxed out the Star Scourge Greatsword. What I actually did was get up to plus 6. Don't know why I said that I maxed it out. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get back to it. I ran past these enemies, went up the elevator, killed these guys, killed this guy, killed the scarab, which turned big, killed it again, and made my way to the Forbidden Lands, where I continued to run past everything, grabbed this golden seed, ran around looking for the Somber 7 that's here, couldn't find it, finally ran past the Black Blade Kindred that I aggroed, and lit the Grace. Then I went back to find the Somber 7, was going the wrong way the whole time, ran past the Black Blade Kindred again, and now the Star Scourge Greatsword is maxed out. After that, I took the lift up to the mountaintops of the giants and got shocked to see Yura alive, only to find out that it's actually a skinwalker in his place trying to tell me to burn the world and myself. Like hell I do that! Then I ran past everything because of the stupid difficulty spike. Seriously, FromSoft, why? Went down to get the bell bearing so I could upgrade one of my great stars up to plus 18 and the other up to plus 19 since I had the stones for it. Ran past everything again, went across this stone bridge, dodged this giant archer, showed the giant archer what for, ran past some other giants, grabbed the last golden seed, maxed out my flasks, ran past the ice dragon, grabbed another bell bearing, didn't need it but I wanted it, got a sacred tear, added it to my flasks, ran past the T-Rex dog, the hell was Miyazaki on when he made these, ran across the only good thing to come out of Dark Souls 2, ran up to this church to fight a Rivers of Blood user, casual, dual great stars is where it's at? Whatever, I took the Sacred Tear, got my revenge, maxed out the healing capabilities of my flasks, and went to find the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone in the area, which I ended up dying trying to get to, but no matter because I still got it. I also used what runes I had on me to get my strength to 43, then it was time to face off with the Fire Giant. So I went in, checked to make sure Alexander could be summoned, and ignored it because of what happened last time.
Alexander? Alexander? What the hell are you doing? Alexander, come on. Hey, our fight is over there. Come on. Shit. I don't have torrent. Wait. Oh, okay. Ooh. Alexander, what are you doing? Get back over here, help. Oh, great. I don't have any heals. Because Alexander! Oh, now you're gonna come back in! Fuck you, Alexander! Fuck you! I'm not summoning him again. He fucked me over.
I framed his bowl snow attack, staggered him, even heard him stagger during the cutscene, staggered him again, stupidly went for the riposte instead of just jump attacking him, had a couple close calls, but then I staggered him for the win and riposted for style points. I ran up the chain with Torrent, dismounted before the last part, talked to my girlfriend who said she was going to set herself on fire to prove her love. I tried to stop her, but she roofied me and I woke up in Florida.
Goodbye.
I'll never forget you, Melina. So anyway, after I got over Melissa, I continued onward. I went back to her house to break the news, and her blind uncle randomly combusted, and her weird brother had some weird barbs sticking out of him. Don't know what that's about. But her mother was nowhere to be found. Could have really used another hug right now. Her blacksmith uncle seemed to be losing it. I felt really bad for him. Her older brother talked about joining the same cult that I did. He even mentioned that they were the ones that killed his girlfriend. Ew. Anyway, I went to talk to her dad, who told me to sleep with one eye open. Don't know what he meant by that. But doesn't matter, because I went and leveled my strength up to 47 and continued on through Florida. I just realized something. I didn't even use Cragblade or Golden Vow against the Fire Giant, and I still wrecked him. Wonder what would have happened if I used all that too. I decided to go full balls and fight this dragon that I usually avoid. Had a couple close calls, but in the end I got him and claimed my second Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. The fuck? I grabbed this other bell bearing, once again didn't need it but I wanted it, made my way over to this Grace and got my strength up to 48, continued forward, destroyed everything in my path, until I made it to the Grace outside of Oogie Boogie and Boogie Woogie's boss room. I knew they were going to be a pain, so I had a decent bit of foresight and got some sleep arrows, along with a recipe to craft more. I went in and slept Oogie Boogie, only to get killed by Boogie Woogie. Went back in and had a good strat, until Boogie Woogie killed me. I hate this fucking boss. Next try, I decided to just attack Boogie Woogie right out of the gate, knowing that Oogie Boogie would be easier to sleep. Then I slept Oogie Boogie, wrecked him before he could roll out, then wrecked Boogie Woogie 2 more times. The last time he managed to summon Oogie Boogie, but it didn't matter because I got him before he could. Now I had the bell bearing to be able to max out both of my great stars. I continued on through Florida, made this crazy jump, decided to challenge this Crucible Knight, died doing so, went back, made the jump again, or so I thought. Went back, died to the Crucible Knight again, went back, decided to run past him this time, died, tried again and successfully made it past him. Then I killed the worst enemies in the game, ran through lightning hell until I got comboed by the birds and the lightning, went through again, slowed down to kill some of the birds, killed the dragon, got the Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, which I no longer needed, ran past everything else because fuck this area, got another bell bearing I didn't need, and got the Grace near Malekith. I used the roots that I had on me, along with some I got from selling shit to get my strength up to 49. I'm not gonna clip another few seconds of footage for one level up, so just trust me. I then went back through the previous area, got ganked by some dogs, which seemed like they popped out of somebody's asshole, because I had no idea how they got here, ran back, avoided the dogs, went to this fog door, realized I had no stone sword keys, bought some stone sword keys, went up the elevator, lit a Grace, grabbed the Lord's Rune, and ran past everybody just so I could get to Alexander. He told me that he wanted to die a warrior's death, and I granted his wish. Very easily. And I got the Shard of Alexander. Wouldn't be very useful for my great stars, but it would be pretty useful for farming, though I don't think I'll really need to do any more of that, at least until we start doing the DLC, of course. I ran behind a Draconic Tree Sentinel, quit out, and cheesed him just like his brother. That way I wouldn't have to worry about running past him every time I died to Malekith. I got my strength up to 50 and decided to go and get the Blasphemous Claw so I could counter Malekith, but Bernal wouldn't invade me, so I went to the Volcano Manor to exhaust his dialogue. Still nothing. I went to kill one of the targets and exhaust his dialogue again. Nada. I went to kill another one of the targets and talk to him to get the letter for his target. Went to assist him in killing said target. Exhausted his dialogue again. Once again, no dice. I decided to just go all in and kill the final target whose armor looked familiar. Oh shit, he was related to Melissa, wasn't he? With that realization out of the way, I went back to talk to him, and once again, nothing. So I turned it into Raya's mom, and she asked if I wanted to join their lord for dinner, which I was happy to do since I was starving, not realizing that I was in fact the dinner. But anyway, he shipped me out, and that's when I found out that you have to kill Rykard in order to get said item.
Well, that was fucking pointless!
I used what runes I had on me to get my endurance up to 41, and finally decided to face off with Malekith. Since the Draconic Tree Sentinel wasn't here anymore, I could get Cragblade and Golden Vow outside the fog before entering. See, it was worth it. I went in and got him to the second phase fairly quickly and died just as quickly. Then I died again, and again, and again. This one really hurt. And after a few more deaths, I finally got him and brought death back into the world, which sadly killed Melinda's grandmother. Oh well, she was close to death anyway. I also reduced Lane-Del to ashes, hope nobody finds out it was me. I went and sold stuff to Marjorie's blacksmith uncle, who forgot who I was, which made me sad. I leveled up my endurance to 44, farmed a bit to get up one more level, I dropped down here to get the upgrade to my Crimson Amber Medallion, and got the upgrade to the Erdtree's favorite. Then got reminded why I hate the Ulcerated Tree Spirits. After that, it was time for the endgame. I went to where I fought Goldfreak previously, and there Miranda's father was standing, ready to fight me. Oh, that's what he meant by sleep with one eye open. I tried to spam a clock him, but I didn't have enough FP to pull that off and end up getting killed, but I got him the second try with my great stars. Look on the bright side, he'll get to see Margaret again. I went and got my endurance up to 47, which finally allowed me to mid-roll again, popped a rune arc, and I went to face Godfrey. Just like his golden counterpart, he always felt so good to fight. I got him to the second phase fairly quickly, just like with Malekith, and he killed his kitty to unleash his true power. Pretty metal, not gonna lie. I failed the running around him strat, kept getting launched and slammed into the ground, which made me think that this was gonna be a failed attempt, but luckily I managed to beat him and I bowed to the king before leveling my endurance up to 50 and my vigor up to 42. Now, it was time to finally finish this run. Okay, so my dumbass didn't press the stop recording button before logging out of the game, so I lost the footage for the final boss fight. No! Well, I beat them, I used Torrent, was very happy about that, and then I took my place on the Elden throne.
This feels anticlimactic.
But anyway, it was over. I finally finished the run that took me forever to do, and that's good enough for me. I promise that I will make sure that I get every recording for the DLC whenever I get around to it. But for now, I am done with this, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care everybody.